What if the Lakers' golden era, the chest out, no tiptoeing, we set the pace Lakers, was about to walk back through that tunnel? I'm seeing real signs the swagger is waking up, the pieces are lining up, and if I'm right, this is the moment we stop whispering and start roaring again. Lakers fans, lean in, because the quiet move that shapes the rest of our season isn't a blockbuster trade or a leak from a boardroom. It's a decision about minutes, money, and patience that touches the rotation, the apron, and the future of how we develop guards next to Luka and Austin. Tonight I'm taking you from the court to the cap to the calendar, showing you why one low-number, multi-year contract matters way more than its headline, what the coaching staff is actually asking for on the floor, how the guarantee dates and trade rules keep options open without creating noise, and where the next real trigger sits if the front office wants flexibility. Stay with me to the end because I'll land the clean, no-hedge update after we've looked at the film and the fine print. The point here is clarity, not clickbait. And I'm going to walk you through it like we're at the practice facility 10 minutes before the scrimmage. I start on the floor because that's where contracts either make sense or they don't. The staff's checklist for our young guard has been the same since camp. Defend your position without fouling. Get skinny over screens. Tag the roller early. Keep your chest in front on drives and finish possessions with a box out. With the ball, sprint into spacing, be decisive on catch-and-shoot threes, move it one more when a closeout is strong, and attack only when the lane is clean. That's not a star job description. It's a winning guard job description next to a heliocentric engine who bends the defense on every possession. If you want to know why his minutes swing week to week, it's because matchups decide the night. Guard-heavy teams that spam pick and roll give him a lane to impact games with point-of-attack pressure. Jumbo wing teams pull us into bigger lineups where the coach leans on size. The signal for the bench is simple. 0 live ball turnovers, corner threes taken in rhythm, event plays on defense, a strip, a deflection that kills a set, a vertical contest that forces a kick. When those 3 boxes are checked, the minutes climb naturally because the tape doesn't lie. Now let's step into the front office lens, because the reason a rookie-scale deal matters this much in a Luka LeBron world is the math of an apron-adjacent roster. You can't whipsaw your cap sheet with constant conversions in 10 days when you're operating near the thresholds. And you can't waste a spot on a guard the staff can't trust for 5 clean minutes when the schedule compresses. A small but guaranteed number for a playable guard is the glue that holds together weeknight basketball. It lets you absorb injuries. It keeps substitutions sane when the second unit has to buy oxygen for the stars. And, this part is crucial, it also sits cleanly inside matching salary if February presents the perfect veteran wing. That last line isn't a hint the team wants to move him. It's what competent teams do: protect development and keep doors open. Zoom in on the numbers and you'll see why I keep saying low number, multi-year team control. Year 1 was tiny by NBA standards. Year 2 remains team-friendly. The 3rd season includes a summer guarantee trigger, and the 4th is a team option. That structure is the whole point. Availability every night now, leverage later. It prevents the two-way game limit headaches and protects the organization from panic moves when the rotation needs stability more than splash. It's also why the room is calm. Veterans know the guard next to them won't freeload possessions, and the rookie knows exactly how to earn another shift. On the coaching side, the message hasn't changed even as the roster around him did. With Luka handling, the job is to sprint to the corner, be a threat on the catch, cut through when the stunt comes early, and leave space for the roller. Next to Austin Reeves, it's about keeping the second side moving, setting brush screens to buy angles, and refusing to kill the clock with extra dribbles. Next to a defensive guard like Marcus Smart, it's about taking the weaker handler and talking through switches so Smart can spend energy where it matters. In bigger lineups with Rui and Ayton, it's run the wing, flatten to the corner, and be ready for kickouts after post seals. Those are simple rules on purpose. Simple rules become habits. Habits become minutes. Minutes become trust. And trust is how a bench group survives the muddy stretches that every team hits in November. The calendar matters as much as the film, so here's the map. There is no mid-season trapdoor in this deal. No two-way conversion, no demotion clause, no sneaky December trigger that changes his status. The next real decision point is the off-season guarantee date for year 3, with a team option held for year 4. That timing gives the Lakers a full season of tape, a clearer read on LeBron's health and plan, and a real summer market for role players before they decide how big a lane to carve. It also aligns with what this staff keeps saying publicly: standards over noise, pace into actions, protect the ball, and squeeze value out of every bench minute. There's a reason the organization extended J.J. Redick: continuity of asks and accountability. If you want the bench to stabilize a team that has had rhythm swings quarter to quarter, you set the bar and you don't move it for headlines. Context is everything, and in Los Angeles 2025, context includes Luka's gravity, LeBron's sciatica management, and the staff's obsession with decision speed. When your primary engine warps the floor, secondary guards either reduce friction or add it. The quickest way to earn a quick hook is to pound the air out of the ball and miss the open corner read. The quickest way to buy another shift is to be shot ready and pass ready on the catch and to fight like crazy over screens so the back line isn't scrambling. That's the ecosystem our young guard is living in right now. Add LeBron's on-off and you see why the plan is matchup usage plus G League reps when the rotation is full. There's no stigma here. South Bay is a tool the franchise uses to keep timing sharp without throwing minutes away in the big league. The variance you see on his box score doesn't scare the staff as long as the turnovers stay at 0 and the corner threes are taken without hesitation. Those are winning details even when they don't trend. Let's talk about trade eligibility whispers, because those always pop up in a market like ours. Yes, the contract is fully tradable and the number plugs cleanly into multiplayer packages, but that is a feature, not the plan. The difference matters. Being movable keeps you flexible if the exact right wing clears, not because you're trying to clear a roster spot tomorrow. And that maturity from the front office helps the locker room breathe. In a season that started choppy and leveled around defense and half-court clarity, the last thing you want is roll roulette every other game. The point here is professional stability, a defined path, clear minutes when the matchup calls for it, and no performative moves that make headlines and cost wins. I know a lot of you are asking how this intersects with February and July, and the answer is the same one you'd hear if you were sitting in a front office chair. Don't touch what works today. Stock your options for windows that actually move the needle. The cap is tight, the apron is real, and the easiest way to bleed value is to solve a July question with a November move. Letting this deal ride through the season gives the GM the full hand. Guarantee lever in the summer, team option beyond that, and a cheap, playable guard now. If a veteran wing becomes gettable at the right price, then you talk like adults. If not, you don't trade clarity for a headline. Back to the court, because this is still basketball. The staff wants 2 or 3 event moments a night from him when he plays. One deflection that blows up a set. One over-the-top contest that forces a kick. One sprint in early offense that turns into a clean corner 3. If those show up and the decision speed is there, you'll see him closing the occasional second quarter and starting the occasional fourth while Luka sits for a breath. If they don't, you'll see shorter stints and more South Bay reps. That's not punishment. That's development with standards. And if you're wondering whether the name on the back gets him slack, the answer is on film every night. This staff evaluates week to week and minutes are earned. All right, you've stayed for the facts. So here's the clean update with no hedging. Expanded so nothing is left fuzzy. The Lakers are leaving Bronny James's contract exactly as it is for the season. Standard multi-year NBA deal. Full-time roster spot. No mid-season rework. No two-way conversion. No demotion language in play. Year 2 continues on the current team-friendly number. The next meaningful decision window is the summer guarantee trigger attached to Year 3. And Year 4 remains a club option that keeps leverage in the team's hands. Functionally, that means availability every night, the same practice and travel cadence as the core rotation, and no game limit headaches that come with 2 ways. On the floor, the plan is matchup-based usage with an emphasis on corner 3 volume, point-of-attack defense, clean screen navigation, and mistake-free minutes that don't bleed possessions. In English, His shifts scale up against guard-heavy pick-and-roll teams where pressure at the point can keep us out of rotation, and scale down versus jumbo wing groups where we prefer size on switches. The front office, operating near apron constraints, keeps every sensible option open for February and July because that's their job. Hold a cheap, playable guard who fits our defensive standards now, and preserve the flexibility to include that salary in a larger package if the perfect veteran wing shakes loose at the deadline. None of that implies a move is targeted. Stability and development are the headline, but optionality matters when you're balancing the second apron, future draft control, and a rotation still hardening its identity. Inside the building, this is the adult choice. Keep the development arc steady, avoid cap contortions that create new problems, and let a full season of tape inform the summer. Practically, that means film goals you can see at home, be shot ready on the catch, shoot or swing in under a beat, tag the roller early, talk through switches so the back line isn't guessing, and finish defensive possessions with a body on a body. If those boxes are checked, the staff extends the leash. If turnovers spike or closeouts get sloppy, the leash tightens, and South Bay reps become part of the weekly plan, not as punishment, but as rhythm maintenance. Zooming out to the calendar, there are no hidden December triggers or mid-season trap doors. Year 2 rides. Year 3's partial guarantee is a July lever. Year 4's option remains a club call that can mirror broader roster decisions. Aligning the guarantee date with the full summer window gives the team clean sightlines on 3 variables that actually move needles: LeBron's health and intentions, the market for mid-tier wings and bigs who fit around Luka and Reeves, and Bronny's progress on decision speed and catch-and-shoot confidence. That sequencing is why you don't burn a November move to answer a July question. Meanwhile, the coaching staff keeps standards public and consistent. Pace into actions, early offense when it's there, zero tolerance for live ball giveaways, and that clarity is why the locker room stays calm. Veterans know exactly what they're getting next to them, and the rookie knows exactly how to buy the next stint. Before I close, I want your voice because this channel runs on informed fans who watch details, not just headlines. Would you keep the deal untouched through the season and let the Year 3 guarantee call live in July after a full load of film? Or would you try to package small contracts at the deadline for a win? Now wing even if it trims development minutes. What have you actually seen from Bronny, over-under on screens, timing on weak side tags, decisiveness on corner threes, that makes you bullish or cautious? And if LeBron announces his plan late in the year, does that change your stance on Year 3 money? Or do you keep standards the same and let the role expand only if the defense and decision speed demand it? Drop your take below, keep it direct, and tell me which second unit guard mix you trust when the game gets sweaty in the fourth. My final read, concise and professional but now crystal clear on process, the Lakers chose the calm lane on Bronny James's contract. Hold the line now. Build a season of evidence and push money calls to the summer because the cap is tight. The rotation needs low mistake minutes, and the organization can't afford self-inflicted noise while it chases form. That approach keeps leverage for February, protects every real option for July, and gives the coaching staff the one thing benches always need in a choppy season: stability with standards.